Total immunity, like JD Vance said, is hogwash. No, ICE agents don't have total immunity. Even Trump versus United States doesn't give the president total immunity. So, welcome to Law and Society. Remember to subscribe and like, and let's talk about the fact that ICE agents don't have total immunity, and neither does Donald Trump. The immunity Trump's regime and his foot soldiers keep talking about is Donald's suggestion of immunity for federal agents in his executive orders that created the police state that has now turned into an abduction and murder squad. Presidents don't have the power to immunize and or indemnify federal agents from crimes committed or people harmed during the commission of their duties, especially if such actions are not part of their official duties. The SCOTUS-created immunity doctrine remains wobbly and ambiguous. If somebody gets harmed inadvertently when an officer is acting in good faith, there may be qualified immunity. That largely depends on the facts of the case and the law enforcement officials' good faith actions to enforce the law. The presidents aren't immune from prosecution from crimes that fall outside their official duties. And that is a Roberts Court creation, entirely court created, and yet it definitely does not vest total immunity on the executive or on executives' departments. So this notion that his ICE agents will have total immunity makes no sense at all. It implies that Donald's federal police state is more immune from committing crimes than Donald Trump himself. So at most, Trump's regime wants to extend immunity SCOTUS gave to presidents to all federal enforcement agents. And even then, crimes are not covered in that immunity. Federal agents can and now are quite often committing violent crimes while they purportedly carry out their official duties. Official duties per Donald's executive directives, mind you, not any statutory requirement or legal document. Their immigration doctrines and their immigration enforcement laws are limited in what ICE agents can do. So whether they're actually official and part of federal government missions would be the sort of thing juries and judges have to determine at some point. But the DOJ is outwardly saying that it is not going to investigate the murder of Renee Good, and that in itself is injustice. Committing those crimes like murdering Renee Good and going out of their way to assault peaceful protesters are not part of the official duties of ICE and customs enforcement agents. Their jurisdiction is limited to enforcing federal immigration law. ICE agents can't order anybody they want to get out of their homes or their cars. Their stops and inquiries have to be brief, not more than 20 minutes, and be supported by articulable and particularized facts, and only when it pertains to immigration matters. ICE agents can't perform local and state law enforcement duties like traffic control, like Jonathan Ross was trying to do with Renee Nicole Good. ICE agents cannot break into homes with administrative warrants. It violates the Fourth Amendment. Also, such illegal and criminal actions create the possibility of civil liability as well if innocent people and their properties are harmed because of the actions of federal officials. Law enforcement across the board need judicial warrants issued by judges and magistrates based on probable cause when it comes to entering somebody's home. ICE's reasonable suspicion inquiry standard doesn't give them the legal authority to break down doors or go door to door to find undocumented immigrants. Such a broad exercise of law enforcement infringes on our Fourth Amendment rights against unreasonable searches and seizures. Burden on individuals in such cases outweighs the federal government's interest, even if they are framed as national security interests. So when the time comes, if our republic and the rule of law survive Donald's assault, there will be trials. Those responsible for these crimes will be held criminally liable. Those responsible for causing harm to person and our property will be forced legally to compensate those who have been harmed. This is what Trump and his posse are afraid of. That's why they want a police state established before the elections, if nothing else but to intimidate people into staying away from voting locations. Don't let that intimidate you. Don't let Donald Trump's ICE army intimidate you. Remember to be peaceful. Remember to stand up for your rights. Renee Nicole Good did, and we should as well. Trump's regime knows that once they lose power, they will be held accountable. And Trump does not want to be held accountable. So for him, he has to either find a way to cling on to the White House or die in office. Thank you for listening today. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll talk to you soon.